again, everyone. Oh, my mic is off. Can you hear me now? Great. Hello again. I hope you enjoyed the video. It's not much to do anything with my work. It's just something which is about my inspiration. Katal invited me to do a lecture, my sharing session. I don't want you to see it as a lecture. I'm not here to teach you anything. I'm here to share my experience and some of my work and some of my ideas and something which I'm here to talk to you as an art student to an art student. I'm not an art student anymore. I still see myself as learning. I've been studying for a very long time, so I really know how you guys feel being in uni, thinking where to go, where you come from, what you can do, what you cannot. So I just showed this video as a brilliant illustration of what can be done and what something which does not apply to anything. It's, in my opinion as an artist, every time I mention it, people laugh. I think art is useless. Art does not do anything. The guy spent 8 months traveling around South America, creating these paintings, and they don't serve anything. They're not even a cartoon which is going to go on TV. It's just something which really makes some point much deeper in you. Something which touched me, and I think it touched a lot of people somewhere where you cannot really understand. So that's something I really want to talk about today. I want to share my experience, and I'm really open to hear questions from you too. I really want you to feel very comfortable about it. Can we start with our presentation? I'm really not a PowerPoint person. I put up a PowerPoint presentation. It's the first time since my high school. Really. I just thought it would be convenient. Sometimes we find it hard to organize my thoughts, so it's just something which I think might help. A lot of people do that, so I thought, why not to try it? No? So they asked me to share my experience, how I work and what I do, and I think the best thing to share is you've been taught a lot, you've been said a lot. You at the college is that it doesn't matter if it's art education or not. It's a matter, how you accept what's being said to you and what's not being told. Yeah. So I want to talk about something what they don't really teach you at school, something which makes me think about after you come out and after a few years of experience, you think, why the hell nobody told me? That kind of thing. So yeah, let's proceed to. That's one thing I realized, right? It's a quote by my favorite rapper, bus driver, right? And it's very much true. That's one of the reasons I started doing art. I was doing art from the very beginning, but at some point they pissed off my parents so much that they actually sent me to an art school. I was in a boarding school away from them, so I could do whatever I want without damaging the newspapers and the walls and the bedrooms and stuff. So that is something which is very much true, and that is something which should not be any of the artist's concern. If you want to do art, it's not about your parents, right? I talk to people here. It's very common approach, especially in Asian culture, that people say, I want to do art, but I don't have a job. Well, you don't have to have a job to do art. And art is not a job. And I want to do art, but my parents don't want me to be poor. I want to do art, but I haven't learned art. There's a lot of things, why not to do art, and that's one of the things. But doing it is absolutely different level. It's going somewhere further beyond that, and that's the only thing to actually create and to trust yourself more than you trust the environment, and more than you trust your society, your family, your job, your boss, whatever it is, which puts you into some framework. We'll proceed. I'm not gonna. That's something where I started. No, I didn't start it here. It was something I achieved after probably 5 years in high school. But I just wanted to illustrate what kind of things I've been taught back in high school. And it was a great experience. I really enjoyed learning it. I spent a lot of my effort, and after I come out from high school, which I spent 7 years in doing it and learning to do this as good as every other student in my school, and my seniors and everyone else, and you come out, you go to the college, and you realize that was useless. Because it teaches you how to follow rules, they teach you how to draw things, they teach you how to do it. But art is not about how to, art is about how not to. And so we'll proceed. I'm not going to just, what's my next slide? I forgot. Let's see that. Yeah, that's something which is, that's the point which I'm trying to get through. It's about learning from your school as much as you learn from your life. It's not just about what you're being taught, it's what you perceive as an individual from your environment. So being out in the world is just as important as being in a school or being everywhere else. And for my life, I've seen so many artists coming from so many different backgrounds and so many different countries. Some are educated, some are not. Some spend 20 years doing artwork and they still are very restricted within the framework, and sometimes artists pick up a pencil and they go. I had one student in London, I've been doing some classes. He comes up to me and there is a class full of students and they've asked me everything about how to draw proportion, how to draw face, how to draw figure, how to do this. And there is one guy who just draws. And he started drawing, and at some point I was saying, whoa, what are you doing here? What is that you want to learn from me? There is, it was really, experience which I saw artists who were so free within expressing themselves that I felt like there is nothing I can tell him. And I say, what's your background? Where did you learn this? And he says, that's my first drawing in my life. And he was a philosophy student at Cambridge. And he dropped the course because at some point he thought it's something what his parents want him to do, it's not something what he wants to do. And he realized he wants to do art. And he went to art school. And it was his first drawing in his life. And it really touched me somewhere deep, deep, deep. And so the next, that's one rule they don't teach you. You don't wait for the guy. I'm not talking about last Saturday in a bar. I'm not talking about a guy on a train. I'm talking about an opportunity. I see a lot of people wasting their time looking for opportunities and waiting for it. I spent a lot of time in London and I saw people looking for a job for 2 years on a full-time basis. Usually it's internship job. And it's something where you look for opportunities without actually taking any responsibility for your actions. I think actions come first. As Pablo Picasso said, inspiration exists, but it has to find you working. You have to start doing something first before the guy comes up. What if you don't know where to start? It's always an issue. As an artist, as a person, as an individual, and no matter in what profession, people come to the point that you don't know what to do. That's the only 3 rules which I know. It's start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. And that was why I'm sharing this. It was something which put me into a situation when I ended up in Penang, and then I ended up in Malaysia. I got tired at some point of my lifestyle, of my environment, of my school. I was just about to jump into my MA course in UK straight after studying my baccalaureate. And then I thought, this is not it, that doesn't feel right. And I thought, I need a break. I come up here to Asia, and I was thinking I'm going to travel. I didn't. I just went to Penang and I stopped. It just happened. And then since I stopped, I thought, okay, I have no job. I have some money for next 2 weeks. I'm okay for now. What do I do? For that some money I had, I bought a piece of charcoal. I came out there and did a painting, just because that's something I can do. And that's where it happened. I did the painting and people saw me doing it, and then I found people who did the painting as well, and I was like, oh, you did the painting too. And that kind of thing. And and it started. It's just about having the courage to take an action and not wait for anything else. It's really about thinking of what you want to do rather than what you can do. With that, I'll go to my next slide, which is, I don't remember what is the video again. So we're going to see. Sorry about that. That's fine. And can you skip this to another? So I did. I did a small painting first out in a walk lane in a small street. It got a lot of attention, but it's been painted over in 2 days. Nobody really cared about it much. People cared when I painted it. They thought it was very exciting. Police, come up to me and say, "Hey," and I was like, "That's a strange reaction." But yeah, that's kind of things which got me take it further. That was the first step and then this was the second step, kind of within a street art media. It's not my main media. I work in a lot of different things. It depends on the mood, really. So, but that was something, which I felt ambitious about all my life, and I thought, okay, if I want to do it, why not? And then, the kind of at some point it was the right time in the right place, and I ended up painting this funny uncle on the wall there, which got it somewhat further, and then it turned into, you probably recognize that. I'm not going to just assume everyone knows my work, but I think most of you have seen these images. And it, step by step, it grew and it grew to the work which was bigger, which was more exciting, which was more challenging. It's not necessarily all about size. It's about where you are, what you have, and what you can. And if you do that in a step 1, it's going to be bigger in a step 2. Because you'll have an experience of, what happened. And we proceed to another slide, which was, that's a process of one of the paintings. I really never imagined, since I started the project, I had no idea I'm going to ever do a painting like this. It was when just it came up to an opportunity to do it. Every time I come up with something which I haven't done, I think, people say, "Oh, I want you to do, can you?" And I think, no, there is no way you can do that. And that's, the thoughts in my mind, how? It's impossible, it's too big, it's too challenging, it's going to take so much of my time. And then it comes to my words, it travels all the way from my brain to my mouth, and I say, yeah, of course. So, sometimes I regret saying it, but it's about the failure as well. If it ends up being not necessarily a positive experience, it teaches you a lot. It's about learning how to fail and overcoming the failure and stepping forward. And the next step, maybe it's going to bring a better result. What's my next slide? Okay. Yeah, so that's the thing. It's not about getting it right. It's not about succeeding in something that you want to succeed. It's about wanting to succeed and failing over and over and over and over again until you actually get to the point where you get it right, hopefully. But it's never really right. So if you get it right once, next time you see oops again, and then you do over and over and over again, and maybe at some point I started teaching students, I started teaching children, I started teaching adults. It was my decision as well. I really wanted to do it, and then come to the point that I had to decide, can I? I was thinking, no way. What do I teach? I'm too young, I'm not experienced, and yeah, of course. So that kind of thing. And so we'll proceed to another slide. Yeah, live wrong. Don't be afraid to do wrong. Don't be afraid to fail. I'm not saying I'm not. I'm scared a lot all the time. I'm worried about about the results which it's going to cause with my work or whatever happens in my life. But it's about making it wrong and really realizing that being wrong it's not so bad. Being different is not so bad. Making something what others don't want you to make, it's not so bad as well. People ask me a lot what I think about graffiti. I did graffiti, but I don't really see my work like graffiti. And there are a lot of kids and grown-ups and whatever who write on the walls, and they go and they write on your car. You come out to the car park and there's a big tag, and you say ah, and it kind of seems wrong, but it takes them somewhere. It does not necessarily take them to the jail, hopefully. But what I'm trying to say, it's about. It's never the first thing which gets you somewhere you want to get. It's 1 million first. It starts with a drawing and then a next drawing and then another drawing. And I see a lot of people who get scared after doing the third one and they say, no, it still doesn't work, and they go back to whatever they've been doing, which does work for them, you know, which is much simpler and much easier. But the thing is, it doesn't really work straight away. So, you know, people ask me how you do it. I don't know. It's been, you know, thousands and thousands of failures before you can actually get, you know, one painting done. What do we have next? Yeah, it's never the right time. They never tell you that at school. At school they teach you, you know, that's a deadline, you'll do it by then, it's going to happen by then. There comes the summertime and you don't have summertime. Sorry, I keep forgetting that. You know, there comes a vacation and you don't know what to do. It's kind of a thing that, again, it all comes up to the same point, you know, when people ask me to do something, I'm like, nah, I can't do it now, yeah. And, you know, it's same pose again. It's never the right time. It's about challenging yourself. I'll go back where I started. I'll go back to the same point that art is useless. Nobody needs it. You're not doing it for anyone. Whatever you're doing, is it art or is it not art? Nobody needs it. The planet is big. There is a lot of people. You were born, you're going to die, and the world is going to continue. And there is a lot you can do for it, but nobody needs you to do it. And there is a lot of beautiful people who actually have managed to achieve without really expecting anything in return. It's about giving yourself out there, and no matter what. You know, nobody asks you to do nothing. It's about what you yourself, within yourself, you feel like doing. And is that the end of my presentation or not? Let me see. Yeah, that's the most important thing we don't mention at uni. It's about having fun. If nobody needs your art, at least you need to get something out of it. It's not about your job, it's not about your money. Any job is not about the work you're putting into it, it's about how much you enjoy it. You know, sometimes I do a project and I go back home and my parents say, oh my God, what if your client doesn't pay you? I have fun. You know, yeah, so I don't want to finish on this. I want to continue it as a conversation. I want you to be brave and come across and ask any questions you want. I'll be happy to share. It's something really not technical which I shared, which doesn't really help you in a practical way, but I think it makes you think about something different. So if there is anything you want to ask, feel free. Yeah. Anyone? Come on.
Hello, hi, my name is Vivian from Cut Out Magazine. So I'm going to ask you, you said art is useless, right? Why are you doing it? Still doing it, and will continue to do it.
Have a lot of fun.
I have a question. You do this very inspiring, wonderful big mural, right? It's not graffiti. And how do you get that kind of permission? Just like Bensky, when he do that in London, in my head,
that's a very common question. A lot of people ask me that. In terms of my medium, I did what I can. I can draw. My approach is very classical. I take my time on painting. I don't think, you know, I can work very fast and achieve very high results, especially working in the large scale. Most of the time I go for legal permits. It takes a lot of time, a lot of logistics, a lot of organization. And my Penang project with Georgetown Festival was the biggest support behind it. It was the organization which made it happen. They helped me, you know, hunting around for locations, approaching the the owners of the buildings. It's very different in every country. It's, you know, every country has its laws about it. In terms of the Banksy example, his work is much more spontaneous. He does most of the work at home. It's just a matter of medium. He prepares his stencil, he goes out there, it takes him, you know, 2 minutes on the spot to complete an artwork. But it's absolutely different. Like, he goes for a shot value, he is more from a graffiti, you know, background who goes for an impact and damage, and, you know, and something, you know, where people get surprised by. I do use the value of surprise. Like, I want my work to, you know, I want my work to be really, as I see it, you know, to make an impact. I want it to, you know, it has to be slow, it has to be detailed, it has to be time for me, and I want it to stay longer. I want to, you know, to be with people. As Banksy started, first, you know, perhaps 5 or 10 years of history, I just don't think it's going to go very slow. And he turned the world around a little bit, but this team of the graffiti and street art, especially in the UK where I lived for 5 years. So, but it all comes up to an individual artist, his approach, an individual idea, whatever you want to achieve with the artwork you're doing. It does not necessarily have to go outward, you know, in the street. And sometimes if there is a specific location where you want to work, you have to think differently, think of other ways to do it. Sometimes it's legal, sometimes it's not. But you should not, you know, yeah, it's the idea first. The idea which comes first, and then you try your best to actually make it happen. Most of my work doesn't happen, but it's only my very small number of work which I have done in Penang. I have folders of pieces which never happened, which are, you know, in the form of a Photoshop file, really, which I didn't get permissions for, which I had no time for. It's, you know, it all comes up to, again, you know, failing and trying to be your best for the next time.
Thank you.
Another thing, one thing they don't teach you at art college is get a manager. It really helps. If you want to produce your artwork, it's fine. But the fact is, art without audience is not an art. If you produce something and nobody saw it, it was not necessarily an artwork. You can call it your thought, you can call it an idea, but it is not an artwork. And it takes a lot of, in terms of, you know, exposure and marketing of it, it takes a lot of effort to actually go somewhere and make it happen. And you as an artist, as an individual, you really want to enjoy, don't corrupt your ideas with something which is about money, with something which is about your audience, with something about whether you know, people who like it or not. It's about, you know, just doing it. So, yeah, that's just one point. But what Gabi just pointed out for me now is a project, a beautiful project that I did a presentation about yesterday. It's a Piece for a Piece project, which I'm doing in KL. I hope you'll guys be following and looking forward to it. We're about to start in January, hopefully if everything goes well. It's a large-scale project, and getting back to the point to where I am, what I have and what I do, I have much more than I had half a year ago, and I have much more than I had a year ago. And every day it's kind of increasing just because my environment, just because you people. Every day I meet someone, every day I talk to someone, and ideas spread, ideas they grow as fast as you share it. Really, and I'm not talking about sharing it on Facebook. It's about putting it out there to the world to see it. It does not necessarily have to be street art. It just has to be something which does not apply to someone's bedroom or your parents or a nice picture on your friend's notebook. It's something for the world to discuss, to see and think about it. So Piece for a Piece is a beautiful project which we started with the Rotary Plant. It is going to be a large-scale project all around KL. We're trying to do up to 10 mural paintings. And with that, we're trying to join, you know, my network and artwork and friends and artists which I know and artists who know me and who want to get involved, and their ability, you know, of networking as a Rotary Club, and to join it into one project which hopefully will bring bigger results to the way we're trying to work a lot towards the charities, and I hope you guys are going to be following, and I want you to approach me and get involved as much as you can and as much as you want. Anything else? I'll consider I'm not getting into this conversation. Well, I believe you have a learning part to it. Yeah, and if people want it, I think, there are ways to happen, and I want people to be ambitious about it, and if they want to be more things in the college, let them do it. I would just ask to share my tips on how I observe the local culture and how I experience it and how I express it. It all comes up to the environment you live in. Everyone who's expressing themselves in one way or another, they express what they experience. They get from environment and they put it out in the world. Same for me, I don't necessarily go around, trying to taste all the local food and talk to all the local people and see what they do and what they did in the history. It's about, living your everyday life, meeting people, getting some knowledge, picking up whatever you're interested in. It's the most important thing is to be interested and to be attracted to it. So when you pick up a lot, you have a lot to express, I think. I think that will be the end of my presentation and the end of my sharing session. I was really excited to be here, and I'm really surprised to see so many of you, and I hope it was interesting.